Do you want to sell your home, but you're not really sure what it's worth, and so therefore you want to sell it first without moving out? You're not the only one. There's a two-part move that happens for sellers, typically in San Francisco, where they move out of their home, the home is staged, prepped, bought to market, then they're living in a rental while they look to buy something else. This can be painful for some sellers, so some sellers will choose to sell their home in an off-market situation. And I wanted to talk to you about the pros and cons of selling on and off the market. My name is Ruth Christian with the Christian team, and I'm here to break down off-market sales for you today. Why would someone sell their home off-market? So one reason is because they want the ease. Sometimes they want the privacy. They don't actually want all of their neighbors coming into their home. And sometimes they just want to save money on costs. There are certain instances where it can make a lot of sense to sell a home off-market. And one of those instances would be if you had a home that was actually somewhat hard to get. So an example of this, there's very, very low inventory in Noe Valley right now for homes in, say, the $3 million to $6 million range. So if you have a home in Noe in this range or in a neighborhood where the inventory that you're holding is somewhat sparse and the home is lived in very nicely, meaning that you have nice furniture, you have nice things, it's not very, very cluttered, then it may look okay to show it off market. The problem is that it's not gonna photograph well unless it's really staged well. So you want to have a realtor who has connections in the community that can possibly sell this home for you off market. When you sell a home off market, typically you're picking a different pricing strategy. You might choose something like a buy me now pricing strategy. So if your home is worth, let's call it $4 million, and typically the realtor that you're hiring would recommend listing it at 3.495 in order to generate a lot of buzz, bring in a lot of offers. Some of those offers aren't gonna go up to 4 million, but they're gonna push those who can up into that $4 million point. And so if it were on market, it would be listed at that lower pricing strategy. But when you're doing an off market, you actually have less people viewing the home. And so often you're picking that higher price. The downside is that the buyers who are out there who will come to your home are also looking at everything else that's on the market. Those homes that are on the market are at those teaser prices. So they're used to looking at a home in the $3.5 million range that's actually gonna sell for $4 million, and they get a little bit tricked. So when they walk into your home that's listed at $4 million, in their mind, they're thinking that that's a $4.5 million home, and they're comparing it to homes that are in the $3.5 million range. So it can appear psychologically for them to think that it's expensive, and sometimes they won't move for that reason. Versus with a teaser price, they would have kind of gotten excited about it, realized they were competing, and then later realized that they needed to push that price. So if your home is hard to find, and if it is in limited supply, then a lot of times those buyers are educated, do understand the price, and they're happy to buy it for that buy me now price off market. The downside is when you have a buy me now price, typically they're not bid up past that price. There is a chance that you could be leaving money on the table. I typically will tell my sellers to pick a number that they are gonna sleep well at night. If they got that number, they're gonna feel really great that they got that number and not feel that they left money on the table. I will tell you, in many instances when we've done off markets or even attempted an off market with a buy me now price and it has not sold, we've taken it off the market, prepped it for sale, did the full thing, and it's actually in many, many cases sold for higher than the price the seller chose as a buy me now price. And they ended up feeling very, very happy that they did not sell it off market. So there definitely is some downsides to the off market sale. But at the end of the day, I think weighing the pros and cons and deciding what's best for you is what's important. So if you'd like to chat through these pros and cons of off-market versus on-market sales, feel free to give me a call or reach out. I'm happy to help.